from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. I hope you're all having a great morning. Hope you enjoyed your weekend this weekend. I can't believe that it's so crazy to me that yesterday felt like 2 days to me, and it was probably because I woke up at some point at like 8 o'clock, 8:50 yesterday morning, and didn't go to bed until 4 o'clock this morning. So it does feel like 2 days, and that would make sense of why it would feel like it's been a couple days instead of 1 day. So my Sunday was a very long Sunday, and hopefully your Sunday was good too. I've unfortunately been under the weather the last couple weeks here. I hope that if you have been, you're feeling better. If you're just starting to go through it, I hope you have a speedy recovery and don't feel it that much and get through it, because I in no way, shape, or form would want you to not feel good this morning, and I obviously know what it feels like to not feel that great, as I have been through that this past couple weeks here. So I want nothing more but for you to feel better, and for myself to feel better as well, as I'm kind of sitting here and just hoping that I could feel better. But my voice has been coming back, and that's good. So my voice is finally finding its way back to me, which is a good thing. Not easy to lose your voice and be a broadcaster and then be like, oh, cool, that's fine. So hopefully you're having a good morning and everything's going well with you. And I'm happy to be here, as always. Proud to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, right here where sports meets life on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, and of course directly on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. So good morning to all. We have a lot coming up on today's show. In just a moment, we're going to have the Monday morning quarterback, which is going to be Marvin Graves, as always. Syracuse quarterback, alum, played for the team coming out of the late 80s into the early 90s, and always appreciate having him on the broadcast, taking the moniker of the Monday morning quarterback and actually giving you a Monday morning quarterback who played for Syracuse, who can give his thoughts on the Orange and so much more. He'll be on in just a moment. And in the second hour of the show, we'll go on the prowl to speak on the Jacksonville Jaguars and so much more. So let's take a quick step aside here for a fast break. When I come back, I will be joined by Mr. Marvin Graves here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we will go from there in the conversation on the Syracuse Bowl-eligible Orange.
This is a Wake Up Call fast break.
News is spreading in historic Herald Square about Syracuse's favorite sports and entertainment venue, the Press Room Pub, with lots of room next to 450 parking spots. Wash down their delicious 9-ounce burger for $9.95 with a variety of New York State brewed beers. TVs abound all throughout the location, including their 90-inch monster. Watch your game, enjoy time with family, friends, as well as bringing the kids to the playroom. The SU Alumni Party for every away football game is making headlines, as well as Robert Drummond, Syracuse football alum, and Dan Tortora's pregame show 2 hours before kickoff for every home game. Private parties available as well for as many as 300 people. Come circulate at the Press Room Pub, downtown Syracuse, and visit pressroompub.com right now for more information.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Clothing that will change with you without you having to change. DreissigLady.com, DREISSIG Lady.com. With the Bamboo line Relaxed Fit clothing as well as the Athletic Fit clothing, DreisigLady.com is fit for any woman, any time of the day, anywhere. Whatever you're doing, whatever your day commands of you, command yourself to feel comfortable in Dreisig Lady Apparel. DREISSIG Lady.com. For all the women out there, feel good in what you're wearing. And don't feel like you have to constantly change throughout the day. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, going for a jog, going for a meeting, or just relaxing at home, DreisigLady.com is the right fit for you. DREISSIG Lady.com.
This is Lawrence Papaleo, licensed real estate salesperson for Gilbo Realty. Call our home office at 315-752-9513, or better yet, call or text me directly at 315-748-2524.
Let me ask you a question, Lawrence. If I needed you to help me buy a house, find the right place, could you help me do that?
Joe, I'll help you find your dream home.
You don't ever say my name on the radio, never. If I needed to sell a house, could you help me go about that the right way?
Yes, I can.
How do they get a hold of you?
Call me directly at 315-748-2524.
But you also do the commercial property. So if I got a business, couple businesses, got to take one here, move it over there, do this, do that, are you going to help me buy and sell my commercial property also?
Yes, sir.
I like that. What's my name again?
I have no idea.
Absolutely, but they need to know your name, so give it one more time.
This is Lawrence Papaleo, licensed real estate salesperson for Gilbo Realty. My phone number is 315-748-2524.
Why don't you tell them your name one more time and that number so we can jot it down?
This is Lawrence Papaleo. Call me or text me directly at 315-748-2524.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for being patient with us over the last couple weeks as I had lost my voice and slowly but surely gained it back. And I shouldn't say I lost it. It never went completely out, but it has definitely been a challenge. And so I thank you. You know, to everybody that makes fun of Mariah Carey, or everybody out there that said you can't hurt your vocal cords, you can't strain your vocal cords and whatnot. You can. You could definitely do that. And as my buddy Evan says, and I've said it before here on the show, he said, "Listen, man, your voice is your moneymaker, so make sure you take care of that voice." And so I'm happy to be here with you. I'm happy that the voice is coming back. And I'm always happy to have this other voice on the other side of things here with me right now, and that is Marvin Graves. He's our Monday morning quarterback, taking that theme, that mantra, and turning it into reality with having Marvin Graves here on the show to speak with me and with you about this Syracuse Orange team. And you know, it's great. And I'm just going to put it out there, Marvin. I'm just going to say it, that Syracuse has struggled over the last few seasons, but this season's the first season we decided to do this segment, and now they're bowl eligible. So maybe, just maybe, we had something to do with it. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. And I just think we're seeing Dino Babers and, his coaching staff. I think we're just seeing his vision of where the program could be starting to come into fruition. So, whatever can pass on some good luck to the Orange, I'm for it.
And when you look at this Syracuse team, this season, and I love that Dino said this because I feel the exact same way, and I definitely was snake eyes with him on this one, is when he said, listen, we look at it like we have 2 seasons. We have our first 6 games and our second 6, and you and I spoke about the break in between, having that bye week, literally having 6 bye week and then another 6. They were 4-2 in their first season, so to speak, this year, and they've moved forward to be 2-0 in this part of it. Just what you can say about how this team has bounced back from adversity and bounced back from losing 2 to winning 2 in a row.
I just think it shows, the team's resiliency. I think it shows that they did get to work during the bye week. They took some time off, but, they did get to work. You come out of the bye and you play, a tough North Carolina team, and you beat them, and then, you come around and play a North Carolina State team that, that sent, I know 8 defensive players to the NFL last year, so you're not talking about a slouch program. And, to play on a national stage and to play at home, the dome was rocking. I kind of got that old feel, back when, I was there and Donovan McNabb was there. It kind of felt like that again. So I think these guys are really working hard. I think there's been a culture of competitiveness going on when you still can throw your backup quarterback in there for a series, and he come in, that kid can be playing somewhere else, and when you have a team like that where you got to get better, but you creating competition where guys can't get comfortable, I just think it's you got to take your hat off to the coaching staff at this point in the season, because they're doing a great job.
And when we look at this coaching staff, I've brought it up before that if Syracuse wants to continue to grow and continue to blossom, there has to be some consistency. And that consistency obviously comes from having a strong coach and locking up that coach. So, where do you stand on the Dino factor, and, how much do you put on him? Because I did have a lot of fans after the game say, pay the man, hey, we got to pay the man, hey, you got to pay the, it was very clear that there are some people out there that want nothing but for Syracuse to make sure that they lock up Dino for a long time. Where do you stand on that?
I think we should. I think, if you just look at his track record, you have to think the ceiling is high. So, why would you want to go out and bring in another coach when, this guy's getting it done? He's going to continue to bring in good recruits. He's going to continue to build his culture around there, and it seems to be working. We're sitting at 6-2, and, the 2 games we lost, tough losses on the road, and, I think you should go ahead and lock him up. I think that he's the guy for the job right now. He hasn't shown that he's going to come here just to build his resume and move on. He's actually come to Syracuse and has started to build a winning culture. And, the guys are playing hard out there on the field. Let's just give the guy, a chance to, put the money aside, go ahead and lock him up, and, let the guy go ahead and continue to build the program, because nothing's built overnight. I think us as Syracuse fans and alumni were spoiled because, we're just used to winning. But I think, right now, with the parity in college football, I think you have to see that, we can compete with almost anybody. So, yeah, I say, go ahead and pay the man, and let's get that out the way, and, let's continue to bring in, the players that he wants help bring in, and, put the Qs back on the map like we should be. We're on the map, but, we want to be in a situation where, teams are circling the game on the schedule to play against us. So I think that's the direction we're going. You see a lot of talent across the field. There's still a lot of work to do, but, I wouldn't, if I was in a position to, stop those questions from happening, I would go ahead and lock Dino up. He's an excellent coach. You see how the players respond to him. You see how he interacts with his players. He's out there, he did 2 chest bumps, and I was hoping that, he didn't blow his Achilles out, but he's still athletic. So he's doing a great job, man, and I think, he's the guy, and we need to go ahead and solidify that as soon as possible.
And, what do you like about Dino the most? What are the things that kind of stick out the most? I mean, obviously the wins are great, and people are happy that there's victories coming, but what do you like about Dino as a head coach and kind of where things stand right now? What stands out to you, and what's kind of that Dino factor, in your opinion, that makes you want to lock him up?
Well, I think the coaching experience that I've had, it's not about where you played or all the places that you coached. It's about the here and now. And I think what I like about Dino is I think that he can coach. I think that he put coaches on his staff that can coach, not only show it on film. You got to coach it up, then you got to go out there and practice it. And I think you see the guys playing for him. I think you see guys playing. When you got guys that's going to go out there and play confidently, that tells me that they're prepared. And, I just think he can coach. I think there's a lot of coaches out here coaching. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can coach, because it's not about, what you know or your experiences. It's what your experiences that you can relay and teach these young men to actually go out in between the white lines and execute it. So I think that he is an excellent coach. I think he's an excellent teacher, and I think he's a hell of a motivator. And I think his demeanor bodes well. A lot of coaches scream and yell and this and that, but he's cool as a fan on the sideline, and that trickles down to the team. So, we've been in tough situations, tough games this year, and, I've never seen the Orange just totally fall apart. And I think that says a lot about, the head man and the culture that he's building around there. So, I just think the fact that he can coach, and I think that means, managing everything from the coaching staff to the players to the water boy, water girl, and it just looks like a togetherness when you watch Syracuse on TV. So that's to me, he's the boss, and I think that's his number one attribute is that. He's the boss. He's the coach. He knows how to delegate and put people in the right place to be successful. So, like I said, there's a lot of people out here coaching that are not doing as good as well as Dino is.
That coming from Marvin Graves, our Monday morning quarterback who played for Syracuse not too long ago. And the last time the team started 4-0, he was their quarterback back in 1991. We're here this morning speaking on the 6-2 bowl-eligible Orange, and obviously just now speaking on Dino Babers. You talked about being inspirational. Just, his speeches. Now, we don't get to see everything in the locker room. That locker room is closed. That locker room is private. But what can you say about what we do get to see, and what we have gotten from this? What we have seen on film and heard from Dino about the type of motivator he is, because you've seen the videos, so many people have. What have been your takeaways from how he addresses the team and just his personality when he is speaking with this squad after a game?
I mean, it's great. He again, different coaches have, different styles. The question is, can you get your message across? Can you get people to follow you? And I think you have that. I think, he has this quiet competitiveness about him that he doesn't feel like he has to yell. He doesn't feel like he has to scream and curse and things like that. And I don't know all that what goes on in the locker room, but from what I see, he has the perfect demeanor to be the head guy. And again, I just think, you give somebody time to, to see, you want to see their vision. Okay, year one, year two, college football is like a win now type of deal. And I just think that you see that he's producing. The guys are producing on the field. The wins are mounting. So it's not an easy thing to do. It's really not an easy thing to do. I've been an assistant coach, and I watch, head coaches and the things that they have to deal with before they even step on the football field. So, it's a lot to manage, and that's why I call him the boss. He has a lot to deal with. It's a Division I program. It's a city that is used to winning in multiple sports, and I think he's handled the pressure well. So, I think we got to, stay behind this guy. Like we said earlier, I think the way you show your appreciation is, to go ahead and get this man the money that, he wants. I don't know what that number is, but I feel like you have to go ahead and lock him up so that we can focus on recruiting and continuing to get, the best players on the field up in Syracuse.
When we look at, speaking on recruiting and getting the best players on the field in Syracuse, the receiving core, a lot of young guys that are at Syracuse right now in the receiving core. The conversation was, what will Syracuse do without Steve Ishmael? What will they do without Irv Phillips? What will they do without Amba Adetawo and so on and so forth? But as we look at this team right now and we look at what they have at the receiver position, Devin C. Butler is a junior on the team. Sean Riley is a junior. Russell Thompson Bishop is a redshirt freshman. Anthony Quealy is a true freshman. Jamal Custis, a redshirt senior, so he'll be heading out. But then you have Ed Hendricks, who is a true freshman. Sherrod Johnson, a redshirt freshman. Cooper Lutz, who's a true freshman. Taj Harris, who's a true freshman. Cameron Jordan, who's a redshirt freshman. Nykeem Johnson, who's a sophomore. Kevin Johnson Jr., who's a true freshman. So, you look at Tristan Jackson, who transferred from Michigan State, who will have a couple seasons but can't play this season. So we're looking at a ton of freshmen and not a lot of guys that are moving forward. The only guy that would move forward is Jamal Custis as a redshirt senior. So a couple juniors, and then all freshmen here are redshirt freshmen. Just what you could say about that, because Nykeem Johnson, who's made big plays, and Taj Harris, who's made big plays, and Sean Riley, all these guys have more time out there, and there's obviously a lot of youth that hasn't even seen the field yet. So just what you think about the future in Orange when it comes to the receiving core and the weapons that are out there.
I think the future is bright. If I'm a freshman or, a young sophomore, redshirt freshman sitting on the sideline, maybe, not getting as many opportunities, but I see, the guys out there making plays across the board. It's not like it's just one guy, you got guys across the board that's making plays, and I will be biting at the top to get my opportunity to play and take the program to the next level. Also seeing, the freshman quarterback come in several times and actually play. So if I'm sitting there and if I'm a high school guy and I'm a guy that's sitting on the bench, I'm like, wow, I really don't have to wait until my junior and senior year to play. This guy will play me if I can produce. And I think that's a great situation to have. Again, it takes time. You take over a job like that, and it takes time for you to actually get your guys there. So this is Coach's fourth year. Am I correct?
This is his third one. Yeah.
Third year. So you talk about 3 years, and this is what coaches usually get, about 3 years. Okay, show me what you can do, and I think you can see where the program is going, because honestly, how many people really would have believed that we would be 6-2, possibly almost 8-0? So. It takes time for you to get out there and recruit and promote the campus and promote, just the Syracuse whole program. It's not easy sometimes to recruit, especially some of the warmer states coming up there to play in the cold. But, we do have the Dome. We do have, great fans. We do have a rich tradition. And if any of these young guys really go back and look at the tradition. You had a guy that's a Hall of Famer, Marvin Harrison, sitting on the bench when he could have easily been playing somewhere else. But he was behind guys that can play like Quadre Ishmael, Shelby Hill, Antonio Johnson. The list just goes on and on. Rob Moore, Rob Carpenter, Chris Gedney. So I think it's a great situation. And I think, this third year, get a guy 3 more years and let's see, where we are in year 3. And I think we could be competing not only for an ACC championship, but for a national championship.
So you believe that this is trending upward, and you just mentioned national championship, and I know that some people here in Syracuse and in central upstate New York just fell out of their chair. Do you really believe that this Syracuse team with Dino could vie for something big in the ACC and something big nationally? And if you do, what makes you believe that?
I believe it really comes down to recruiting. Now, one thing that I believe now after, 3 years is I believe he can coach. And with that, and it's nothing against the players that we have right now, but if you look across the country and the teams that are competing for national championships, it comes down to players. It comes down to players. So, again, if I'm a high school coach, if I'm a high school, mom or dad, if I'm a high school player, and I'm looking at programs, and I may not want to go to the big programs. I may want to play against some of the big programs and help take a program over that next hump to be one of the top programs. So, it comes down to recruiting, and I think with the rest of this season left, a lot of wins that possibly it opens eyes. It opens eyes, and it comes down to players. So, to be honest with you, I kind of equate Alabama to a high school program here like the Massa, where you got a bunch of players going there because it's Alabama, and they'll sit on the bench and they'll wait. Well, if some of those players decide to not go to Alabama, if some of those players decide to go to other programs, you get 5, 6, 10 more players like that over the next 2 to 3 years. Now you're talking about competing a little even more. So I really see it going in the right direction, and I feel like why not us? Why can't we play for a national championship? Because it's been a long time. So the tables will turn, and I feel like, why shouldn't we be in position?
And as this team moves forward, and like you said, why not us? And you had brought up what a lot of people have spoken about as well, is this team is 6-2, but they very well could be 8-0. And on top of all of that, the 2 games that they lost, going off of that theme that they could be 8-0, they weren't out of any of these games. Played all the way up into the last moments in Death Valley with a chance, and then in overtime against Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. This team has not been blown out, not been embarrassed. What does it say about the culture and the environment? Because Syracuse struggles to win on the road historically, in these last few years that we've been watching, under Greg Robinson and under Doug Marrone and under Scott Schaefer and under Dino Babers. But this year, even though they lost those 2 games on the road, they didn't get embarrassed. They didn't get completely annihilated. They were in these games. So to go a little bit deeper into that they struggle on the road, yet they are making some improvements, and it's not, just a rose-colored glasses fan saying, hey, they could be 8-0. It's the reality of the fact that at the end of the game, Syracuse still had a chance in the 2 losses that they've had.
Absolutely. It just says that, and I think I said it before, winning is something that it's a process. You just don't start a team and then, okay, we're national champs. It took Alabama a while to get to where they were, and that came from, coaching and recruiting. I just believe that, I'm sorry, a truck just rolled by. I just believe that it takes time, and winning is something that is built through recruiting, through practicing. through wins, through tough losses. So those guys the games that we actually lost on the road, we were actually winning by at least 2 touchdowns. So learning how to win takes time. And I think, losing it never feels good. But I think those 2 losses that we had just before the bye helped us win the last 2 football games, because these kids never give up. The coaching staff never hangs their head. You never see, guys getting down. So they believe. And I think winning is all of that. If you believe when you step on the field and you can compete with anybody, no matter who they are, that bodes well for you. There's a lot of times I remember back, when I was playing in the 90s, the Hurricanes were up 10, 14 points before the ball was kicked off because people were intimidated. Syracuse is not intimidated, so that's a great formula for success and for eventually the ball bouncing your way. And I think that's what we've seen the last couple of weeks.
And speaking here with Marvin Graves, our Monday morning quarterback, speaking on Syracuse at 6-2 and bowl eligible. Let's go to that. And last time Syracuse was bowl eligible was 5 years ago in 2013. Syracuse went through a string of bowl games from 2010 to 2013 where they went to 3 bowl games and they won all 3. The new era, the Pinstripe Bowl in 2010 and 2012, and the Texas Bowl in 2013. So it hasn't been forever, but outside of those moments, it feels like forever for the Syracuse Orange of getting to the postseason. You're a fan of the Orange. You're a former player. You will always be a part of the brotherhood. Bring me into the moment that the clock struck 0 and you knew that Syracuse was going to a bowl game somewhere this season.
Well, it's a great thing because the kids get another chance to play. You have a gap in between the last game of the season, and it gives everyone, including the fans, one more chance to go out there and play, whether it's a December bowl game or a January bowl game. And the one thing about Syracuse is that we travel well. The country knows that our fans travel well no matter where the game is. I remember playing my freshman year in Hawaii, and we had fans there, and Syracuse fans are amazing. And I'm not saying that to get any brownie points. It just is what it is. We have some of the best fans in college football that travel with the team, and the guys see that. When you're going to play in the bowl game, and you're going to, if you score, you're not going to hear like 10 people clapping. We travel very well, and for the players, even guys that maybe, seniors or juniors, it's another opportunity to get on film if you're able to go to the next level or go to the CFL. And it's another way to get the new year started. Like I said, whether it's at the end of the year, a December bowl game, or a January bowl game, you get one more chance to get a win and build your program. And it's another great tool for recruiting because bowl season, you're usually playing on TV and young people get a chance to see, what you're all about.
And when you have that bowl game, knowing that, not only is it, for the fans exciting because they're going to have another game, they're going to be a postseason, and fans of any sport, of any team, anywhere, obviously love getting out of the regular season and moving forward to the postseason. But for the school, it's more money. For the school, it's more practices. It's more eyes on the team. There's a lot of benefits, and you can speak to this from experience. There's a lot of benefits that come from having a bowl game that go beyond, okay, well, you're in the postseason. It's the money, it's the exposure, it's the time, it's the building toward next year, it's the getting ready, getting the team ready and getting the players ready and getting the future ready. So just to speak to that and just how important, that is and just what that can do for a team.
Oh, it's huge. In the grand scheme of things, it's all about recruiting. Sometimes sports can even get your non-student athletes to apply to a school. Some people, they may have played sports in high school or, didn't play sports in high school, but they love being around it. You know, when I was in high school, we had a lot of people coming to our high school that didn't play sports, but they were part of, you know, the pep rally. They were a part of it. They wanted to be a part of the winning tradition. And, you know, a bowl game just says that you're putting in the work, that out of all the schools, the Division I schools in the country, you were selected to play in this extra bowl game. So it is about, you know, money. The school gets a certain amount of money that goes to, I believe, the athletic program, the exposure to the university. Again, not just for student athletes, but, you know, just for students. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's about winning. Winning is your best, I guess, marketing strategy, your best mouthpiece to expose your university, to expose your programs. You know, you may even get, you know, someone that plays basketball or lacrosse or field hockey that say, oh, they got a good football program. Let me take a look into, you know, this other sports and these other programs. So it's not just about football. It's about exposing the entire university to the country. Like I said, whether it's in December or whether it's in January, it's the holidays, people are home, kids are home, and you know, it's just a win-win for the entire university, not just the football program.
Staying the course and staying focused, speaking here with Marvin Graves. As a former player, what would be your advice to the team in staying the course and staying focused, knowing that they are 6-2? And I spoke with the guys about it, and you'll hear this week from Taj Harris. You'll also hear from Jarvion Howard. But, you know, how difficult is it once you achieve that, once you know, hey, no matter what, we're going to a bowl game, how difficult is it to stay focused from there?
I don't think the situation that the Cuse is in, and I feel like even when I was playing, okay, we became bowl eligible, but I feel like that's what they set out to do in the beginning of the year. You set goals for your team. So I just think that's one of the goals along the way that was set by the team, but they have to understand that they haven't accomplished anything yet. There's still a lot of football to play, and I feel like at this point, now we should be shooting for that January bowl game. And the only way you can do that is to stay focused, to stay the course, you know, to keep putting the work in and continue to look at the film and see, you know, where you can get better. Continue to study your opponent as much as you can and just keep putting the work in. Complacent teams fall off, you know, this time of year, towards the end of the year, and I don't really see this team getting complacent. So just keep going to work like you've been doing. Continue to learn from your mistakes and continue to understand that the game can go a lot of different ways, but if we keep fighting, if we stick together, and we keep believing that, you know, we can win some ball games. So I think the only focus right now should be this week coming up.
That coming from Marvin Graves here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, our Monday morning quarterback. Marvin, you know, this moment, 40,000 plus in the Dome. They give announced attendance every game, and sometimes I kind of look around the Dome and go, eh. But this time around, it looked like, you know, the Dome was relatively pretty packed, pretty crowded, and it seems that, you know, having these night games are obviously a big and special, you know, opportunity. And, you know, hopefully Syracuse can have more of these because it felt more like football season and it felt more like a football team and more like reality and more like maybe some of the other places that I've been to where they get to prep and enjoy this all the way through. So, you know, for me, I can honestly say that, you know, seeing the fans come out and seeing how electric it was obviously plays a big part and is very special. What can you say to the fans, and what do you want the fans to know about moving forward? Because the fans are essential, but, you know, it's obviously been a tough relationship between the fans and the team in the recent history.
I mean, the fans are a very crucial part, especially when you're playing at home. You know, to be honest with you, it breaks my heart if I'm watching the game on TV and the TV camera, you know, scans the other side of the field and I see, you know, stands at the top empty. I'm like, these guys put in a lot of work. It may not be exactly what you want. And then the other side of it is, I don't know if people, financially don't have the money or whatever the case may be. But I believe that dome should be filled every single weekend. Hell, you can go into the community. You can go to boys clubs. If you got to give tickets away, fill that dome up, because the players feed off of it. It's intimidating when a team come in there and they can't hear. So it needs to be at capacity every single week. Don't just jump on the bandwagon when we're winning, which is obviously a thing that happens, because if you're the talk of the town, then people just want to be there, whether they're football fans or not. But, those stands should be filled every week. I understand everyone doesn't have, the financial means to do that, especially if you have multiple kids and things like that. But I put the challenge to the Syracuse University to go into the community, to give, students and young kids and young football players, give them the whole damn top section if that's what needs to be done. But there's no reason why, with the only indoor facility in the country, when we step on TV, that dome should not be filled. So I challenge the Syracuse University, the football coaches, the staff, the basketball coaches, everyone, the AD, to go into the community and give some of those tickets away, whether it's for, academic prowess or, great community service. We need to give them away to some of the teachers, or give them away to, give some of those tickets away, man. Give them away so we can fill that dome up, because the players need it. And it really does help when they're in there and they're packed and they're loud. And it's really intimidating when an opposing team comes into the dome and it's packed. So I'm very passionate about that. We do have great fans, but as a university, we can't not have the dome packed. If it means giving something away, hell, I know we make enough money. Syracuse makes a ton of money. So if you got to go give those tickets away, give them away.
That coming from Marvin Graves, and I can't disagree with you on that. I think you got to pack the dome. You got to get people there. You have to make it rocking. You have to make it an exciting atmosphere and a difficult atmosphere to play. And it is a totally different world when it is busy, and it is a totally different. The whole feel of everything is substantially increased when that dome is packed. Not just because it's like any other game where there's fans that are there and they're loud, but the fact that we are in a closed environment and just how loud that can be. Marvin, before I let you go, just some quick thoughts here and some quick advice to Syracuse on the road. They have struggled not just this year, but in general in winning on the road. So what would be your advice to them on what they need to focus on when they're away from home, when they are, not by familiar territory? What would be your word of advice for them?
My word of advice is to start fast, number one, which I think we have done. But we have to stay consistent. We have to stay together on the road. We have to stay focused. Once we get teams down, they're going to make runs, but we have to weather that storm, which we haven't done in the two close games on the road. We have to learn to weather that storm and put our foot on teams' necks. When you're up 14, you got to get it to 21 preferably, but you got to continue to score points. When you're on the road, you got to take the crowd out of the game. Once a team makes a run, if they're at home, they're going to get that energy from their fans. You have to be able to take the fans out the game and break the other team's will. And to be honest with you, as much as I love playing at home in the dome, we used to love going on the road, playing on the road in tough environments, because we wanted to set your fans up. And I think we have that mentality. Again, sometimes it takes a couple of close losses to actually learn that. So I'm thinking that moving forward, those two losses against Clemson and Pitt will help us going down the road that these guys will learn how to finish the game. And that's pretty much it. Just staying focused and learning how to finish opponents off on the road. And I think we're right there on the cusp of it.
That coming from Marvin Graves, Syracuse Orange quarterback in their history, and a phenomenal time as always when we're here on the broadcast. The team is 6-2, and they are ranked. Then this is the final note that I want to make with you, Marvin, this morning. They are ranked for the first time in 17 years. The last time they were ranked was 2001. We go all the way back to Paul Pasqualoni times, and now the team is ranked 22 in the Associated Press poll and 24 in the coaches poll. Thoughts on Syracuse, almost 2 decades away from the national rankings, and now when you wake up this morning and you go and check them, there is an Orange S in the top 25. Thoughts on that?
Oh, man, it's got to be a great feeling for the team that, you know, the work that they've been putting in, the country is seeing it. You know, being 22nd in the nation is not a 22nd or 24. Being in the top 25 is not a small order. It shouldn't be taken lightly. And it's a proud moment to be back in the top 25. And again, you know, Dino Babers as the head coach, I think you got to take a look at him and really lock this guy up, because the arrow is pointing up for this program. Now, how far we'll move up all depends on, you know, the people in that locker room. But at this point right now, at 6-2, you know, I think, you know, everyone has to feel really good about it, and to know that we're not even all the way there yet. We're not even all the way there yet, and there's a lot of football to be played. I think it's a great, great moment. I think, you know, the team and the community should be proud, but understanding at the same time there's still a lot of work to be done. Because if we can move up to 22, a lot of football things and a lot of strange things happen throughout the course of the year. You know, let's see if we can crack the teams now. Let's see if we can, you know, crack that top 15. And that could happen. You know, who knows? A lot of teams could lose this weekend, and we can move up. So it's a great moment. Again, it's a great recruiting tool, you know, for kids looking down the top 25. Oh, Syracuse, you know, it's just a great moment. And I think, you know, that the team should be proud. I think the coaching staff should feel good. And I think it's more of a reason to go back to put in some more hard work to see that the country is recognizing you as a top 25 program.
Yeah, and this team, you know, in the top 25 right now is huge, and the record of 6-2 obviously extremely substantial, and along with a lot of teams that are very well respected around the country with the type of record that 6-2 looks very, very nice, and there's a lot of teams out there that hold that same record. So Syracuse moving forward, they have, you know, obviously a lot of talent, and Dungy and DeVito continue to push one another, and we have plenty to talk about coming from here. So with that being said, Marvin, thank you so much for everything, and thank you for being a part of the show. Always appreciate it every Monday. I know the fans do as well, and I'm happy that this Monday we could say Syracuse is 6-2, Syracuse is bowl eligible, and Syracuse is ranked in the top 25. Pretty amazing Monday, October 29th, if you ask me.
Oh, it's a great Monday, and I appreciate being on the show as well. And, you know, to the Orange fans and the Orange Nation, you know, we getting our swagger back. So let's stick behind these guys. Let's say positive things. And, you know, let's look forward to this weekend and just take it one week at a time. And, you know, we'll do it again next week after a victory.
That coming from Marvin Graves. Marvin, as always, I appreciate you, man. I thank you for being a part of the broadcast, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Thank you, Dan. Have a great week.
All right, you too. That coming from Marvin Graves, and always appreciate having Marvin here on the broadcast, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Let's take a quick step aside this morning and we will be back in just a moment to go on the prowl and speak on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So two teams going in two different directions. The Jaguars are falling off the wagon, and the Syracuse Orange are finding what it takes to get back on the wagon. It's all coming up next.
This is a wake-up call fast break.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
For all of us that have always wanted our favorite restaurant to come to us, it's now a reality in Central New York with It's a Utica Thing, with Utica Pizza Company bringing their wonderful recipes that they've handed down through generations to you, to your event, to your business, to your home. It's a Utica Thing, proudly bringing Utica Pizza Company on wheels to your location. Call 315-738-8946. That's 315-738-8946 to bring Utica Pizza Company to your doorstep with It's a Utica Thing.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this portion of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Make sure you stick around for On the Prowl and NFL coverage in the second part of this episode, right here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's archive, wakeupcalldt.podbean.com.